watch and burn.
Hey everybody, so tonight I am looking to discuss how Mary Brown was just right about everything in the Blair Witch Project, and Heather, Mike, and Josh didn't listen to her because they thought she was crazy, so they just dismissed everything she had to say. I mean, even at one point later in the movie, Heather's like, what was Mary Brown saying about a pile of rocks? She was like, fuck, I wasn't listening to her because I thought she was a lunatic. And it's funny, you know, because it's true. Mary Brown comes off as being kind of out to lunch, and especially afterwards when she's just done discussing the Blair Witch. She apparently discusses how she's a ballerina and she's doing research for the government, the Defense Department or some shit. So, of course, you would, like I said, probably not listen to what she had to say, but everything she had to say about the Blair Witch was 100% on point. When she was discussing the story about her and her father going down to Taffy's Creek to fish in order to make ends meet when she was a kid, you can tell that Heather's just like, oh yeah, that's nice, oh yeah. So the Blair Witch, you know, what did she look like? And she was like, she had hair on her, and Mary Brown was attempting to really, it seemed to me, I got the impression that Mary Brown was going to discuss the Blair Witch at length, but you could tell that Mary Brown could sense Heather's sort of impatience. So she just kind of got through the story because she knew that Heather wasn't really listening. Because the whole time she's like, yeah, she's covered in hair. And she's like, so she was hairy from head to toe. Because she just wants to get through this. And then we later find out in Heather's journals that Heather wasn't rushing her just because she thought she was a lunatic. That was part of it. But it was mostly because she was trying to keep the interview short because she didn't want to use too many mags on the interview because she only had so much film to shoot with. So she was trying to keep Mary Brown, I guess, like on course to keep her on track, just to say what she had to say, that little bit that she knew about the Blair Witch, and then to get out of there. So in the process of A, believing she was a lunatic, and then worrying about how much footage she was shooting, how much film she was using to shoot the interview, really guaranteed the fact that Heather was not listening. And what also, the other thing I found really interesting about Mary Brown was in the Blair Witch dossier, there's a private investigator talks to Mary Brown, and in that interview, she comes across as being so much more coherent and so much calmer and so much more with it than she did in the movie. And I really liked that because it added another element of realism to Mary Brown, the character, you know? It made her more human. And in that interview, she discusses how Josh's ghost visited her out front of her trailer. And he was missing teeth, and it looked like something had been removed from his side because he was holding it, and he was screaming in pain, and he was all wet, she said, and she said it was absolutely terrible. So through the dossier, we find out that one of the Blair Witch's victims contacted her at her trailer, which I thought was really interesting. And the fact that Mary Brown would even know, how would Mary Brown know that Josh was missing teeth? It wasn't exactly like she was one of the people that the people that found her footage would have consulted over the footage. Wouldn't have been like, oh, they interviewed you. You must know a lot. We're going to come and talk to you about it now. So I doubt she even saw the footage. So if she didn't know that Heather and Mike received Josh's tooth wrapped in as part of his shirt as a gift from the Blair Witch, how else would she have known that he was missing teeth unless she actually saw his ghost out front of her trailer? So I thought that was a really fun thing to add in too. And again, I really liked how Mary Brown seemed a little more with it and a little more coherent and a little more in charge. I thought that was fun too. But I just wish that they'd listen to her more, because not that it really would have helped them, but it would have possibly opened us, the audience, up to hearing more from Mary Brown, because I always loved that character and I always felt that she was sort of underused in that movie. Fuck, they could have made a movie about her alone, right? So I love how the dossier adds more to her character's background. And I also love her description of the Blair Witch, how she's this disgusting piece of shit that goes around exposing herself to children. She's like, you know, she opened her shawl and she had hair all over her. And she's like, you could tell that she was female. And I'm like, oh, that's good. She's walking around half naked like some sort of trench coat psycho in the city, like exposing herself to little girls. I'm like, oh, the fucking Blair Witch is she's a keeper, eh? But look, I am getting out of here because I'm starting to hear more and more voices. And I think there's a lot of parties going on right now because school is kicking back in a couple days. So there's bound to be people around here somewhere. I think there's bush parties happening near me. I'm getting out of here before somebody sees my lights and comes over and starts talking. I am getting out of here. You guys are amazing. Don't forget to do something nice for somebody, yada, yada, yada. You guys kick ass. I'm going home. Have a good night.